Hi everybody, today I have a brand new Tesla T3 on my table, and right now I'm going to disassemble it to do the waterproofing, to prepare it for wet riding, and also I will check all the bolts that they are very well tightened and secured, so there will be no risk riding on this wheel. So I have disassembled the side covers of the shell, and what I would like to share with you that you have to use these tools. This is from plastic. It comes with spare batteries for cell phones, for example. You can find them on AliExpress. This is needed to remove this cover for LED strips, because the plastic is really soft here and on the covers, and you can easily damage it, for example, if you use this tool. Like I showed, just pick it up and move it along the side, and then you can remove this strip cover. Afterwards, the LED strips are removed. There is a connector inside it, and the next step is to unscrew all of the wooden screws along the cover, and there is a little difference on the other cover. Let me show it for you. So here on this cover, it is held by the wooden screws along all the perimeter of the cover, but on this side where the trolley handle is, there is two more screws, but they are like normal screws. They are just under this stock pad. You also have to remove that to remove the cover. I don't know why Begode didn't do with the normal screws all the rest, because yeah, these are the wooden screws and these are the normal screws. This is really strange for me. So I have removed the batteries, removed the controller, and let me tell you about some issues real quick. So first of all, I removed all the batteries, and I was really impressed by this interconnection, because now they are using such kind of connectors. I don't remember how they are called, but yeah, you may know them. It's much more compact than they did before. I really like this style. This is cool. Of course, there is no fuse. Unfortunately, this new Tesla requires more working hours to service it, because if you, for example, need to repair your inner tube or replace the tire, you will have to remove the batteries. you will have to remove the controller, since you can't disconnect the phase wires and whole wires from the controller when it's there on its place. And you have to remove the battery as well to uncover these screws which hold the battery inside the wheel well. So there's much more work to do to remove the wheel from its well. This is something which is not really comfortable for service, but still acceptable. Another thing I would like to talk about is this furniture fixers here and here. I don't really know why they are placed it there, but from the factory it was like this. If you do not remove the cover and properly tighten them, you will make this kind of sound when riding on your wheel, and yeah, it will vibrate and you will have this rattling. Welcome to Begode quality. Another thing is that the controller now is being held by 2 screws and this silicone cube, and it is really hard to remove it, because when you try to remove it, it really changes the form, and it is really tightened there, so you need a lot of force to remove it. So I don't know why they did it this way, but yeah, it's there. It consists of 2 parts. Yeah, and as for the motor connectors or motor wires, I will go from top to bottom. So the first one is the yellow one, the second one is the blue one, and the third one is the green one. So that's for you guys who are interested in how it is connected, and you disconnect it and forget it. Although it's of different length, but still I can tell you what are the colors of the wires here. So I have removed the motor from the wheel well. Right now I will totally disassemble it. I will lacquer it, the motor, the stator, the rotor, the covers. I will form the gasket for the covers to let the owner easily disassemble this motor in future, just in case of bearing replacement. I will also install these sealers which are made by WaterProofing. I will leave his Telegram nickname in the description to this video, so if you need such kind of sealers, you can order them from him. I've already made a review of these sealers on my YouTube channel in the RS motor. So let me make a couple of comments just real quick for this motor. Of course, the community hates a lot these motors because they are not reliable, since the water seeps in the bearings, and for example, you can ride about 100 kilometers and then your bearings are damaged by the water, and you will have to do the replacement, and the bearings are expensive since they are big. And yeah, I really understand this. I am also a hater of such a design, not the design how it works and how it rides, but the problem is that these motors are coming to the market already for a year, I guess. Yeah, RS started to be sold a year ago, and for the year Begode didn't do anything to install such kind of sealers. I do not understand why, because this is the great solution for prevention of moisture seep in, and this will prevent the bearings damage. And yeah, it's not a complicated thing or something like this, and Begode ignores this. All they did is that they made the hole much bigger, so it looks like they are thinking that if we cut out the hole here a bit bigger, then the water will drain from outside. But anyway, it still will get into the bearing, and I do not understand such a shitty solution. So this is the only way to go, and Begode has to do this way, but not this way. This is bullshit. And of course I do really hate Begode for this, because yeah, this motor rides really great, but who needs the motor which rides really great but only for 100 kilos? This is a bullshit. So right now I am going to fix this problem with the sealers, and I am pretty sure that the new owner will ride a lot of kilos without any problems with bearings in the nearest future. So I have disassembled the motor. I showed you my way of disassembling it. I took firstly the pedal hanger because it's a really rigid material. Put there some kind of foam material, and then the bearing, which I do not longer need, and then push it from that. Once the cover with the stator started to get out, I have removed the pedal hanger and used this heatsink from a standard Intel box cooler from the CPU. It fits perfectly here and can fight with the motor force. Of course, I must say here that the motors in the rotor are very powerful, so please be careful if you will do that at home, because you can easily damage your fingers with that once you do it inaccurate. Yeah, and of course there were some surprises. That one bearing just left on the stator. It came out of the cover. The other one was just starting out from the cover. You may see it, but still it's there. This is something strange for me, because in RS motors it was like not so tight here on the stator, but really tight in the cover. So the quality changes from model to model, from motor to motor. Yeah, and now I'm going to open up these bearings to wash it with the gasoline and change the loop there. By the way, they are rotating really easy, so I think the sealing here is really shitty. That's why those bearings die really fast when the water seeps in. So I have removed the bearing from the cover, which was left there, and I was really upset because when you rotate it, it makes noises. You see here is my voice recorder. I put it nearby to let you hear the noises which are coming from the rotating bearing. So I hope you can hear that. It rotates with noises, but the other one is absolutely silent. So you see the difference. So next step I'm going to do, I will open up this bearing, wash away the old lube, put the new one there, and hopefully I will save this bearing, because this Tesla didn't ride much. It's just a brand new one. The user just tested it a little bit and then gave it to me for improvements.
It's going down. It's going down.
You were best under pressure.
So I've opened up the noisy bearing and I see that the lube is very shitty here. I want to show you it. Maybe I can do that. So take a look here. It looks more like a melted plastic than a lube. You see, I'm taking it from the sealer. It's like a solid material on my tool. So now I'm going to wash away the old lube from this bearing, put their new one and check if something changes. So I have removed another sealer from the bearing. Now it's without sealers, and I had another surprise from Begode quality. So now it's absolutely silent, so it rotates without any problem. And I guess maybe some sand was moving along with this sealer, because it's really shitty sealers. And from the other side, on the last sealer, I had noticed that the loop was getting darker. So I think there might be some dirt seep into the sealer. So now I'm going to clean it up, clean up the bearing from this shitty loop, replace it with the better one, and reassemble the bearing and put it into the wheel, since it's working normally and I don't hear any noises anymore.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, or drop out. It's going down. And then I'm like, and then I'm like,
Started dancing and love with us into
everybody get loose.
So I have changed the loop in the noisy bearing. Yeah, right now I know that the noise was coming from the sealer here. I guess there was some sand particles somewhere there that were making noise. So now I've put my voice recorder near the bearing, and let's try to hear something while I'll rotate it. So absolutely no noises. I am very satisfied with the work done. The bearing is healthy, and now I will put the new loop in the second bearing and will continue with the motor assembly.
Everybody get loose, go down, 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 down.
Started dancing and love with us into our groove, into our groove.
Everybody get loose, go down.
Started dancing and love with us into our groove, into our groove.
So while the motor is in process of drying of lacquer and gasket, I decided to move to the hydro protection of the shell. And here I've already removed these front and back glossy covers. The technology is absolutely the same as for the LED strips cover. Just use this tool, put it here and pick it up really gently, because here are the fixing elements here, so you can see them as well here. They kinda click in and fix the cover to the main shell. So by the way, this is the back shell, so take a look here how it's dirty. The owner of the wheel write just a little bit on the dry rod, so this is nothing about the water, it's just the dust. So I guess the mudguard should be preferable here, or you have to take care of the tail light hydro protection, because I think some water can seep in here while riding on the rainy day. So let's talk a little bit more about the quality of Begode assembly. So here is the tail light. So it's kinda not properly glued there. I'm gonna take care of it to fix it up properly. So here is our display. There is a protective film here which is coming out, so I will remove it not to collect the dust and make the display dim. By the way, there is a lacquer here. I'm gonna add some more, but yeah, it's still okay. It was glued here like this. The owner of this wheel asked me to add extra layers of lacquer to the main board of the controller and also to the musical board. I will do that. And of course I will take care of the wheel well. I will add the sealant here and the sealant also here on this side to prevent any water ingress from the top. So I guess that's about it for now. Maybe if I will see something more, I will share it with you. So I finished the hydro protection of the inner shell. I've added an extra lacquer layers to the controller board, to the musical board. Although it was okay from the factory, it was covered by the lacquer, but as the owner of this wheel asked me to add extra, I did that. I also worked a little bit with the speakers, although it was still okay from the factory, but I prefer to make sure that nothing will get in outside of the wheel well. So I've put a lot of lacquer to the display as well as the tail light. I've put a lot of sealant in the wheel well. Also I've put the sealant here, but from the inside I will show you the picture right now. It is impossible to shoot video right there. So now I consider that the inner shell now is highly protected from the water ingress, and as it is being drying, I will continue with the motor assembly and then reassemble the whole wheel. Working with hollow motors is a real pleasure in terms of maintenance. So you've seen how easy I've installed bearing here. The procedure is as follows. Yesterday I've put the bearing into my freezing camera. So now it was really cold when I took it off from freezing camera, and I've started heating up the cover to the temperature while I couldn't hold it with my hands. It started to be really painful to hold it in my hands, so I stopped heating, then took out the bearing and put it here. It just dropped in, and when the temperatures are aligned between the bearing and the cover, so it is now installed. It works really well, so no problem from this point. So now, as the motor been assembled, it's time to talk about sealers. I'd like to remind you that the Telegram nickname of the author of the sealers is in the description to this video. So if you like this type of sealers, you can contact him and order them from him. So those sealers are a little bit different from the RS type because of there is a new cover here with a bigger hole, so there is no possibility to install sealer inside it, so it won't rotate with the cover. Right now it has the holders here, so the main idea is that when you install the sealer here, it is fixed, it doesn't rotate anymore with the cover, and the cover rotates over it, so it is necessary to lubricate this area as well. I will add some lubrication here to prevent any water or moisture ingress inside, and to make the rotation friction over the cover much easier. So speaking about the holder design, if you take a closer look to it, you will see that these parts of the detail are aligned with the surface, and this one is kind of cut. This is necessary for this wire. So when you install it like this, so the motor wire goes right here, so there is somewhere here the hole in the inner shell of the wheel where the motor wire goes inside the inner shell. So this is crucial point of installation of the sealers with the holders. Yeah, and of course it is necessary firstly to install sealer in the holder, because there is a special place here. It's kinda rigidly fixed there, and only afterwards you install the sealer with the holder inside the motor.
Rock it up, then she bring it around. Rock it up, then she bring it around. Rock it
up, then she rock it up, 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 then she bring it around. Every time me drop the girl them turn a drunk. Drop the girl them, tell them turn a drunk.
Every time me drop the girl them turn a drunk.
Girl them turn a drunk.
And
She have to make it now, and she have to make it now. Girl them turn a drunk, girl them tell them drop the girl them, tell them drunk down.
every time me drop the girl them turn a drunk crowd. Girl them turn a drunk crowd. And
She have to make it now, and she have to make it now.
rock it up, then she bring it out.
Have to make it now.
Rock it up, then she bring it out.
Have to make it now.
Rock it up, then she bring it out.
Have to make it now. Make it now.
Rock it up, then she bring it around. Rock it up, then she bring it around. Rock it up, then she bring it around. Rock it up, rock it up, rock it up, top, top, rock it up.
Rock it up, rock it up, top, top.
Rock it up,
Rock it up, rock it up, top, top.
Rock it.
Tell them top, rock it up, top, top.
rock it up,
John crowd, rock it up.
rock it up, rock it up,
Rock it up, rock it up, top, top.
rock it up, rock it up, rock it up.
Tell them turn a drunk. Top, rock it down. Tell them turn a drunk. Have to make it now.
Rock it up, then she bring it out.
Have to make it now.
Rock it
So I have installed the sealer, installed the motor, installed the controller on its place. I've added a Schottky diode to the charging circuit to prevent any free voltage on the charging port. So now I consider this wheel to be ready for the wet weather riding. That's all. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. See you later in the other video.
Can't take my